So right now I'm going to start on the big bore kit, take the exhaust off first, and go from there. So the whole project took me about 3 hours, and I have 2 hours worth of video, so I'm just going to edit it down and narrate over it. I'd rather record the audio as I'm doing it, but sometimes it's just easier to do the job, and then if I spend the whole time making movies, then I'll never get anything done. And it was like 40 degrees out and about to get dark and start raining. It's not really going to be a how-to video, but I'll just tell you what I'm doing as I do it. Right now I'm just pulling the carb off. I'll speed it up through the boring parts and it slows down during the good parts. Now I'm taking the intake boot off and then the plastic cover around the fan and the plastic shroud around the engine. If you're looking for how-to videos on this or instructions, I use 49ccscoot.com. That's where I got all my information on how to do it. If you saw my other videos, the first big bore kit I ordered was a 52mm piston with a big valve head, and it was supposed to have a racing cam with it, but that was missing and I decided to return the whole kit. This kit is a 47mm piston, and the factory piston was 39mm. So this should be about 80 cc's. And now I'm just pulling the valve cover off. Almost all of the bolts are either 8mm or 10mm, so it's pretty easy. I was surprised at how easy the whole project went together. Once I took the cover off, I put all the bolts back in so I wouldn't lose those and I could remember which size went where. And then I pulled out the timing belt tensioner, I guess it would be. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. After that, I removed the nuts so you can take the rocker arm assembly off. And I did those in a diagonal pattern. And you slide that off. Then you can take the cam off, take the timing chain off, and then the gasket. So there's the head, it goes like this. This port down at the bottom, these at the top. Here's the back of it. Ooh, dripping oil, making a mess. But, yeah. Good look at the name brand there, RONGFA. But we're going to be reusing this, so a little dirty on the inside. Maybe I'll clean that up. So it came off like this. So just like that. After that, I removed the lower timing chain guide and the gasket. There we go. Then I removed the factory piston cylinder and stuck a paper towel behind the piston so I didn't drop anything down there. Then I removed the G-clips on each side. Push the piston rod through, or piston pin, and then you can remove that. So here's the factory piston. This is the 39mm one. In a second I'll show the other one and we can compare the new one to the old one. Here's the old one, here's the new one. A little bit bigger there. So we'll have to get that on. Make sure we put the intake and stuff the same way as it should be, and yeah. Now I'm putting the piston rings on. And at this point I put one G-clip in because it's easier that way. And then you push the piston pin in, and then you have to slide the cylinder on and line it all up. Make sure the piston's at the top. And this is where you want to make sure you keep everything, the timing in order. and you align that down at the fan. I'll show you in a second. But so yeah, there's the T. And then if you look here at the camshaft, go to the other side, you can see this holes lined up. Yeah, you can see this holes at the top, and those little holes are pretty much horizontal. So hopefully it's in time. It seems like that's the closest I've had it. After that, I torqued everything down to 10 foot-pounds. And the same with the other bolt. I'm just putting everything back together now, and then I'll put the cover on. Make sure you put all the bolts back in the same spot because some of them are longer and some of them are shorter. And then connect all the hoses. Put the gasket back around the outside before you put the plastic shroud around it. And then the intake boot goes over the plastic. Tighten that down. Put the carb back in. And I didn't make any adjustments to the carb, that's just the factory one. I have another one that I might put on, it's a bigger carb, but I didn't do it that day. I put the fan cover back on, and I did the oil change and stuff. I put the exhaust back on, and then drained the oil and finished doing that. Because the exhaust is bent, every time I want to pull the dipstick out, I have to take those two bolts out of the back of the exhaust. Alright, so the oil's changed, the big bore kit's in, and we're going to go ahead and try to start it up.